Hi children, Namaste. Today I'm going to discuss with you another beautiful lesson from your English state textbook. It is actually a story, I believe, from children to adults. Everybody likes to listen and learn stories and hear to stories. So this is a beautiful story that generates a lot of fun, a lot of humor. I am sure that you will not be able to stop laughing and smiling. Okay. So the object of learning this lesson would be to learn more vocabulary, to write more of opposites, to learn a skill of writing stories. It is also an important art. Writing stories is not a simple task. You will have to have that skill of writing stories where you generate a lot of fun. Okay, so and you know that fun is very, very important for life. When you have fun, when you have humor, automatically our health would be very, very nice. So learn to have some fun. So this lesson is taken from unit 2, C reading, that is The Brave Potter. Okay, so if you want to learn what fun is inside this lesson, you will have to listen to almost. Hi children, how beautiful the pictures are. Now let's learn C reading, The Brave Potter, under the topic The Wit and Humor. This is a beautiful lesson that expresses about fun, humor, laughter, and so on. Okay, so we all love fun generating movies and stories. So this is a story actually, this lesson, C reading, The Brave Potter. I know that the title Potter you understand. Brave means, what is the opposite of brave? Please write in your notebook. Potter is one who makes pots out of mud, right? So we start the story, okay? About the author. The author is Marguerite Seek has chosen a very well-known Indian folk tale for retelling in English. Okay, this man, Marguerite Seek, went around India and collected many stories and he translated them into English. So this is actually a retelling of a folk tale. Stories and folk tale. Folk tales are related to village stories in English. Children and adults are fond of folk tales. So what is the opposite of fond? You have to find out. All children as well as adults usually love stories, which are often amusing and sometimes instructive. Stories tell us a lot of values, a lot of morals. At the same time, stories also give us a lot of happiness, a lot of pleasure, and a lot of fun. So what is the use of stories here? You have to understand. And please write the hard words of this paragraph, and also please write the opposites. For example, for fond you have to write opposite, for well you have to find an opposite. Okay, so this way children. So this who is the author of this Brave Potter? How did he translate these kind of stories? What kind of story is Brave Potter? What is the use of stories? Okay, so these are some of the questions you will have to answer in your notebook for these small one-line questions also. Let's get into the story, actual story. So it was dark. So the story started in the dark time, night time. Thick black clouds covered the evening sky. So it is also evening fall where the night is arising and there is a thick black clouds covered the evening. These days as it is raining, what is the sign of rain? How do we know that it is going to rain? By seeing the clouds. If the clouds are very black, thick black clouds. Okay, thick black clouds, if they are there, we usually assume that it is going to rain, right? So the situation of the weather also is same. There is a thick black clouds. The thunder roared and the strong wind shook the branches and leaves of the tree in the forest. Okay, there was a thunder and there was also a strong wind, which were the strongest signs of rainfall. Okay, and the leaves of the tree, because of this strong wind, were falling. The sound of the falling rain was pit pat pit. What is the sound of the rain? Pit pat pit. Drops of rain fell. Immediately heavy rain started to fall. Then the lightning flashed and split the black sky with its blinding light. Okay, blinding light. What is the meaning of blinding light? You know, when there is a thunder light, we cannot just see the thunder light with our bare eyes. Okay, so usually it is like that. So the lightning that comes in the sky, it actually separated the whole clouds into two parts. Okay, soon it was raining heavily. So how is the situation of the weather? You know, there was a thunder, there was lightning, there were black clouds, and it was night time, and the trees were moving as if there is a cyclone, and within no minute there started a heavy rain. Okay, so it started heavy rain. So I believe you all understand. Now, what was the weather condition in the evening? What were the signs of rain? How did the rain fall? So these sounds are very important. How did the rain fall? Pit, pat, pit. What were the signs of rain? Okay, so these were some of the questions, children. Please write the opposites and also answer my questions. An old tiger ran through the rain looking for shelter. So suddenly there was a kind of tiger which was running. What kind of tiger it was? It was an old tiger. Why did it run for? To escape the rain, and also it was searching something. What was that? Shelter. So it was looking for a shelter. What's the meaning of shelter? Shelter means house. To escape the heavy rainfall, the tiger, rather the old tiger, started searching for a shelter. How was he? He was wet and cold, and his cave was far away. Where was his den? A rather cave they have used here. The house of the tiger, here in the lesson it is called as cave. Where was it? It was very far away from the where the tiger is now. And how is the tiger? It was wet. Wet means it was fully drenched in rain, and so it was wet, and it was feeling very cold. The tiger was feeling very cold, and it was away from its house. While hurrying to his shelter, he saw an old hut. So as he was trying to return to his cave, it was very far away. Suddenly he noticed something. While searching for his hut, while searching for his cave, what did the tiger notice? It noticed a hut. So what is the meaning of hut? A small thatched house. Okay, what is the meaning of hut? A small thatched house where there is no concrete walls and all that. Okay, that we call it as old hut. With a sigh of relief. So when you have a relief, with a sigh means, you say that kind of pleasant relief. Then we call that expression as a sigh. With a sigh of relief, the tiger growled. The tiger did not jump, the tiger did not run, the tiger did not walk, but the growled. What is the meaning of growled? A baby growls on the floor. A baby of 6 months to 1 year old growls on the floor. So, with a sigh of relief, the tiger crawled under the thatched roof and lay down by the door. So, somehow the old tiger crawled to the hut and it started to sit at the door. As some of the dogs, the street dogs during the rainy season, they somehow leap into a house and just sit by the side of the wall under the roof. Likewise, this tiger also came and sat there. Except for the sound of the rain, all was quiet. Okay, only there was one sound. What was the only disturbing sound? It was the sound of the rain. Otherwise, everything was very quiet. What is the opposite of quiet? You please write there in your notes. Before you could nod off, what is the meaning of nod off? Sleep. So before you could nod off, however, you heard something heavy being dragged inside the hut. Okay, suddenly before the tiger slept, he heard something being dragged. Dragged means pulled inside the hut. He felt that something is being pulled into his hut. Okay, so the tiger, before he could sleep deep, he heard something pulled inside the hut. This was followed by the voice of a woman. And besides the dragging of something, the tiger also heard something. What was that? The voice of a woman. Okay, the voice of a woman. So, two things he has heard. Who has heard? The tiger has heard. Please, children, this is also a two-parted lesson, as the Dear Departed is segmented into two parts. Even the Brave Potter also contains part 1 and part 2. We are in part 1 now. So the tiger heard two things. What was that? He heard something heavy being dragged inside the hut. This was followed by a voice of a woman. So the tiger heard two things: dragging up something into the hut and the voice of the woman. Okay, please write the hard words of this lesson. How was the hut? While searching for the cave, what did the tiger find out? How did he reach the hut? What are the two sounds he felt? Write the answers for these two questions. Every question must be in your notes, my dear children. Oh, how terrible this leak is. So what was the voice? The voice was, worded like this. Oh, how terrible this leak is. So inside the hut, the voice of the lady is heard by the tiger. She complained. So the woman in the hut complained, how terrible this leak is. How terrible. I would rather meet a tiger in the forest than have this leak in my house. So the woman is telling, oh my God, how terrible this leak is. What is the meaning of leak? Find out in your dictionary. How terrible this leak is. And she is comparing the leak with something. What was that? Tiger. And she is telling, I would meet a tiger in the forest than have this leak. I don't want to have this leak, but I will live with tiger so happily, so bravely than living with this leak. What do you understand when the woman is saying about that leak? She is underestimating the power of a tiger, right? A leak, the tiger thought. Immediately tiger is started thinking about the leak. The woman said, what is a leak? A question has arisen in the mind of the tiger. What is a leak? It must be very dangerous and strong, or the woman would not be more frightened of the leak than of me. I think that leak might have been very, very powerful, very dangerous than me. What the woman is saying, I can live with a tiger than living with a leak. I can't live with a leak, but I can live with a tiger. So immediately the tiger started thinking, what is this leak? The woman is ready to live with me, and she is not afraid to live with a tiger, but she is afraid to live with a leak, which means the leak must be very dangerous, frightening, and strong. Am I not rightly called the king of the forest? Who is the king of the forest? Lion. Also the tiger, because it belongs to the same class. Aren't they all afraid of me? I wonder what a leak looks like. I am the king of the forest. Everybody is afraid of me. But here is a leak where the woman is not afraid of me, but she is afraid of the leak. Now, what is this leak? How does this leak look like? How is this leak? Is it so powerful than me? What is this leak all about? I am the king of the forest. I am the strongest animal in the forest. Everybody is afraid of me. But this woman is not afraid of the, tiger, but she is afraid of one thing. What is that? Leak. So immediately the tiger thought that the leak must be very powerful, very dangerous, very ferocious, and very strong. I believe you are able to understand very clearly, children. This is only a story, a fascinating story, children. It's not so difficult. Soon afterwards, the tired tiger, how was it? Tiger? It is tired, no strength for it, fell asleep. So the tired tiger, because all the way it was searching and running for the shelter, and finally found this hut. And when he reached the hut, he was very tired. He found the shelter and he wanted to take rest. And since he was very much tired, he started taking rest and he fell asleep. He was suddenly awakened by an angry voice shouting in his ear. He felt heavy blows fall up upon his head and shoulders. As he fell asleep, he felt something heavy. There was a strong voice shouting in his ear, and at the same time, there was some flaws, some blows fall upon his back. Somebody was beating and shouting in his ear very powerfully. Okay, somebody was shouting in his ear very, very powerfully, and also they were beating the tiger. Blows means beating here. Heavily he was getting thrashed. Okay, the tiger was thrashed heavily, and there was also a sharp voice being heard. Okay, a sharp voice being heard by the tiger. When did he hear a sharp voice in his ear and also get the blows on his back? When the tiger was tired and fell asleep, deep sleep. "You horrible beast!" How was the tiger greeted? We greet the teacher, "Good morning, sir. Namaste, sir." But here, the tiger is greeted. How? How is the tiger greeted? "Horrible beast." The tiger is greeted, "Horrible beast." What is the meaning of beast? Look into the dictionary, my dear children. A voice screamed angrily, shouted angrily, "How dare you run away?" Run away is a verbal phrase. Run away means run. How dare you? How can you run from me? And what courage you have for running away from me? How dare you make me walk about in the middle of the night trying to find you? And you made me to walk in the middle of the forest, that too in the middle of the night, to search for you. Be careful. One of these days I will kill you. Now go home. Okay, a voice was being heard when the tiger is sleeping. The words are like this: "How dare you to run away?" Okay. "How dare you to make me walk in the middle of the night trying to find you? Be careful, one of these days I'm going to kill you. You run away from me and give me work? What is the work you give me? To walk and search for you in the night time when it is raining. Now remember, I will kill you one day. Now go home. Come, let's go home." Okay, by hearing these words, the old tiger shivered. What is the meaning of shivered? Shivered means, shaking whole of your body. "This must be the leak who has come out of the hut. I would better do as he says, or he will kill me." The tiger immediately thought of itself, "Oh my God, this must be the leak. The leak must have come out of the hut, and now it is talking with me. Maybe this leak might be very, very dangerous. It is better that I obey the words of this leak." The leak is telling, "Come home now. You have given me work to search for you. Now you come, or else I will kill you. Better he will kill me. I will shut up my mouth and just go along with him." Okay, these were the words. Okay, so this must be the leak who has come out of the hut. I would better do as he says, or he will kill me. If I don't listen to this leak's voice, he might kill me, because the woman said the leak is so dangerous and I cannot live with a leak, but I can live with a tiger. These were the words of the woman. So now the leak has come and talking daringly with me without any kind of noise or without any kind of fear. So the tiger allowed himself to be bound around the neck with a thick rope. Okay, what did the tiger allow? The tiger immediately allowed to tie a thick rope around its neck. Okay, so the person has tied a rope, a thick rope. It's not a simple rope. It is a thick rope around its neck. The mysterious creature then climbed onto the tiger's back and pulled at the rope. The mysterious creature, the voice who came out of the lake, who talked with the tiger, how did he greeted as a mysterious creature? Mysterious means a secret creature. Creature means big beast. So the tiger allowed this mysterious creature to tie two things, to tie around its neck a big thick rope and allowed that person to sit upon him and have a ride as if he was on a horseback. So, so the tiger allowed himself to be bound around the neck with a thick rope. The mysterious creature then climbed onto the tiger's back and pulled at the rope. Okay, so the man sat on the tiger and started having a ride on it. Come on, head for home. Let's go home. Head for home means go home, shouted the voice. Immediately, the voice shouted. The tiger felt a sharp kick on his side. So immediately, not only a sharp voice, he also gave a big kick on one side. The tiger was terrified and he ran through the dark forest. So as he got a quick thrash on his back, he felt very, very painful and he started running towards the home and he started running in the forest in the night time. The creature pulled hard on the rope to tell him which way to go. So with the rope, the man was able to control the way of the tiger. According to the rope signal, the tiger started to move to the person's house. The creature pulled hard on the rope to tell him which way to go. At the same time, it scolded, cursed, and kicked the poor tiger. Not only that, the person is referred it here because it is not given correctly. So it is the person is identified as a mysterious creature. So they have used it. So the person who is sitting on the tiger, he said so many words. What are those words? Scolded, cursed, and kicked the poor tiger. Three things he has done while sitting on the back of the tiger. He kicked, he scolded, he cursed the poor tiger. Soon they stopped in front of a small hut on the edge of the thick forest. Okay, soon they stopped in front of a small hut on the edge of a thick forest. So as soon as they crossed the forest, almost at the edge of the forest, they found a hut and there they stopped. Okay, where did they stop riding on the tiger? At the edge of the forest. What is there at the edge of the forest? A small hut was there, and the tiger was stopped there, and he got on from the tiger. Okay, what is the opposite of small here? What is the opposite of cursed? What is the opposite of poor? What is the opposite of dark? What is the opposite of terrified? What is the opposite of pull? Please, what is the opposite of stop? What is the opposite of friend? So many opposites you have here. The creature climbed down from the tiger's back and bound him with an iron chain to a nearby tree. So as soon as the tiger was stopped at the hut, the creature who was sitting on the tiger came down and pulled the tiger to a tree where there was a big chain. Iron chain was there. The tiger was tied to the iron chain to a nearby tree. Then he went inside the hut. So after tying the tiger to a chain, the creature went into the hut. Okay? The tiger could not free himself from the chain. So whole night the poor tiger was trying to escape. But the number of times he tried, he failed in each attempt because he was tied with a strong, tight chain. He could not escape. So he could not free himself from the chain. What is the opposite of free? So he had to spend a miserable night. What kind of night he spent? Who? What is the meaning of he here? He means the tiger. He had a miserable night. What is the meaning of miserable night? Bad night. He had a miserable night under the tree. Who was this creature who was able to capture such a large, dangerous tiger? Can you guess, children? Who could be the creature who pulled such a big tiger and tied it to a tree? Can you guess? What is the opposite of large? What is the opposite of dangerous? Who is large and dangerous? Tiger. Who captured it? A mysterious creature. You understand, children? Don't you think that the whole story is filled with laughter, fun, and so on? Have you got such kind of experience? Pulling the, not knowing that it is very, very dangerous. Instead of thinking that it is a rope, did you catch any time what we call like a snake? Have you any kind of such experience? Did you any time pulled the tail of a kind of, what do we call, tail of a dog, tail of a cat, and suddenly it turned its head and when it screamed, suddenly you got frightened? I think you must have such kind of experiences. I'm sure you might have had. Just recall some of the beautiful experiences in your childhood. Shall we find out who could this creature be? I hope the story is going on perfectly on humor, right? The story is really going on the lines of fun. On the afternoon of that day, so when did he bring the tiger? In the midnight. And what did he do? He tied to a tree. With what did he tie? With a big rope? No, with a chain. And he went to sleep. Where did he go to sleep? Hut. And what happened in the afternoon time? On the next day afternoon of that day, a porter had arrived home after a hard day's work. So, as soon as he went to the hut, he went to his field, and afternoon time he came back home after a hard day's work. What kind of work he had? Hard day work. He was tired and thirsty. Who was tired and thirsty? The porter. The porter was tired and thirsty. When was the porter tired and thirsty? When he came back from his field. So when did he go to the field? I think might have gone to the field early morning. He had asked his wife for some palm wine. Palm wine means tadichettu water. What is the meaning of tadichettu water? Kallu. So he asked a palm wine. So who was the palm wine? A brave porter. After what kind of condition did he ask? When he was in the condition of tired and thirsty, after coming back from the field, during the afternoon time, what did he ask? He asked for palm wine. Why did he ask for the palm wine instead of water or buttermilk? Because wine gives him strength. Wine makes him to forget his pains because he had a hard day's work. The more he drank, the better he felt. As our drunkards in our villages, the more they drink, they forget themselves and they behave as if they are superstars, power stars, and super supreme stars. They find like that. Okay, I am talking about the character here, children, not about your favorite of anybody. Okay, please. So after he had that palm wine, he is himself experiencing that thing. Better and better he is feeling. That is the thing you need to understand here. When he had drunk all the wine, he no longer felt tired. So when he had too much of drunk, when he drank till his neck filled, he had no more pains, nothing more. He did not feel any kind of tiresome. When the storm began, the porter suddenly remembered that he had left his donkey tied up under a tree. So when the storm began, the porter suddenly remembered that he had left his donkey tied under a tree. So what happened? Again, afternoon time, storm again felt. Again, it was going to rain. Suddenly, at that moment, when he was fully drunk, palm wine he had, and not he had one or two glasses, he had thought filled. At that time, he suddenly remembered that he tied his donkey. But actually, what did he tie? Did he tie a donkey? No, he tied something. What was that? He tied a large, a big, ferocious, dangerous tiger to a tree. And he felt that, oh my God, I tied my donkey in the midnight to a tree. I must go and save it. I must go and bring it because it's going to rain. Because it is going to rain. When the storm began, the potter suddenly remembered that he had left his donkey tied under a tree. He rushed out of his hut to take the animal into the stable. So, where do you put the where do we tie the cows? Buffaloes, cowshed, right? We tie them, keep them in cowshed. But donkeys and horse, we keep them in stable. What is the house name of the donkey? Stable. So the brave potter wanted the donkey to be brought and kept in the stable. So he immediately came out of the hut and ran to bring the animal to the stable. You can imagine his anger when he discovered that the donkey was not there anymore. Okay, you can imagine his anger when he discovered that the donkey was not there anymore. As soon as he went there to bring the donkey, the more he drank, the better he felt. When he had drunk all the wine, he no longer felt tired. When the storm began, the potter suddenly remembered. On the afternoon of that day, I think we have gone one day back. You can imagine. So he was drunk, and when he went to bring the donkey to his stable, it was not there, and so he felt very, very angry. He was too angry, my dear children. Okay, the only thing left was its chain. So before he brought the tiger, he went when the storm started during that the other day. He went to bring the donkey to the stable, but he found nothing. But what was there? Only the chain was there. So how did he feel that time? He felt very angry. He was very, very angry. My stupid donkey must have run off into the forest. See, run off is a verbal phrase. How did he call his donkey? Stupid donkey. Why? It ran away. It ran away into the forest. And he grumbled. Grumble means simply voice out something. Grumble means simply voice out something. When I catch him, I'll give him a good beating. So, what is the promise he is taking? If I catch my donkey, okay, I will give him a good beating, not simple beating. But what kind of beating will he give? Very good beating he will give. Okay, not simply beating. Very, very good beating he will give. Okay, very good beating he is going to give children. Okay, this is what he felt. So this is what before he caught the tiger the other night, before the rain started, this thing has happened. He was fully drunk. The potter walked through the wet forest. So it was in the afternoon. He drank fully. After drinking, he went for searching the tiger. Did he find it? To bring the donkey to his house. But did he find that? No. So he went. The potter walked through the wet forest. When it became dark, he often stumbled over roots and fallen branches. With each step, the potter felt angrier with his donkey. So it was all. He was searching for his donkey. Very, very. Unconditionally he was searching. Limitlessly he was searching. He was getting into the deep of the forest, and heavy rain started. It was almost evening, and so the trees fell, the branches fell, the stones were there, the waterlogging was there, and as he was walking, he was falling down, and the branches were falling across him, and so the poor potter was getting angrier. But still, though he was getting drenched in the rain, he still kept on searching for his donkey. Okay, so and the moment the search for the donkey was actually increasing his anger. No, as he was searching for his donkey, it was also time that it is increasing his what do we call, his anger was also increasing. When I catch him, I will tie him up under the tree all night, he muttered to himself. What is the meaning of muttered? Say something. Okay. When I catch my donkey, I will tie him to the tree and, during the whole night. During the whole night, I will tie him in the whole night to the tree where he escaped. Okay. He muttered to himself. Okay. He muttered to himself. Hours later, the potter reached the old woman's hut. Okay. After some time searching for many hours, see, hours later, after searching for many hours, he reached the old woman's hut. There he saw an animal sleeping in front of the door. So after searching, suddenly he reached the old woman's hut and he found that near the doorstep, what was there? A tiger was sleeping. Okay, there he saw an animal. He did not say it as an tiger, but he said an animal was sleeping in front of the door. So immediately, what did he think? There he is. He shouted, "There he is, the stupid animal!" Okay, after seeing that animal who was sleeping at the doorstep of the old woman's hut, he said to himself, "There the animal is. There the stupid fellow is." Huh? There he is. He shouted, "There he is, the stupid animal." Okay. Immediately, the drunken potter did not notice the difference between the donkey and the tiger. So, what he could not notice or differentiate between a tiger and a donkey. He could not differentiate between a tiger and a donkey. Why he could not able to separate, identify between a tiger and a donkey? Because he was fully drunk. What was the drink he had? Palm wine. Remember that. He kicked and beat the sleeping tiger. What did he do? He kicked and beat the sleeping tiger. He then jumped on the frightened animal's back, rode it home, then tied it up with an iron chain. But now you understand the flashback that was there behind catching this tiger, because he did not notice that this is the tiger. He is thinking that this is the tiger, this is the animal that he is searching for. What is the animal he is searching for? It is his donkey. It is his domestic donkey. What did he do when he saw the animal? He shouted, kicked, bet the animal and sat on it and asked it to ride on this way he caught this animal and brought to his home. Okay, children? Hope the lesson is getting clearer. Understand, dear children? The lesson is getting for all of you very clearer. This is an interesting lesson, children. Very interesting lesson. But all the vocabulary you need to understand, the characters you need to understand, and actual story how it is going on you need to understand. This is a beautiful biryani meal for those students who love fun and humor. Those who really interested to have some fun, this is a nice story. Next morning, the villagers who passed the potter's house looked in amazement. So the village people of that potter who were passing the potter's house, they found something abnormal. They found something unfamiliar, and it was really amusing. There was a kind of amounting of amazement was there. The tiger tied to the tree, and a big tiger was tied to the tree, and the people of the village who saw it were really they were all very happy, and they were surprised to see a tiger being tied in the place of a donkey. Soon the news spread throughout the village. The potter had caught a tiger and tied it to a tree in his ad. And is it a simple news? It's not a blockbuster news. It is a news that will really need to spread. It will surely spread, and the news was spreading like anything, like a wildfire, and reached across the villages. All the villagers praised his courage. What is the opposite of praised? Criticized. Courage, opposite, discourage. They also thanked him because the tiger had eaten many of their goats and buffaloes. Why are the villagers very happy to see the tiger caught? Yes. Why were they happy? Because the dangerous tiger killed and ate up their buffaloes and goats. The children, all the villagers were very, very happy, dear children, because the tiger killed their goats, buffaloes, and everything. That's why they thanked the poor potter, the brave potter, I would say. They were all praising him, thanking him, and so on. And they were also very much surprised to find such a big animal was caught and tied to a tree. They had tried to catch him for many years, but had failed. We were also trying to catch the tiger. All the villagers were really trying hard to catch this tiger in order to kill him, because it was killing their buffaloes and goats and so on. But were they successful? No, they were unsuccessful. They could not really catch the tiger. But now they were very, very happy as the potter was able to catch it. Clear? Of course, the potter said that he had done nothing of that sort. He said that he had only brought his donkey home. Okay, of course, you villagers searched or planned many times in order to find this tiger and catch him and kill him. But you were all utterly failed. But that is true, but I also did not catch anything of that kind. I only brought my donkey to my home. Still, he is in that mood that he brought in the night his donkey only. Okay, I did not catch of that sort. That sort of means that kind of tiger. Okay, I only caught my donkey. He said that he had only brought his donkey home. He did not understand how a donkey could change into a tiger. So the potter was not able to imagine how a donkey can change into a tiger. Yeah, I don't think that a donkey can change. In no way it can change into a tiger. But what was the actual scene? When he saw the tiger, what happened to him? He fainted. He fell unconscious. As soon as the place where he has tied the tiger, when he went there and saw that it was not the donkey but it was the tiger, he felt unconscious and he fell down, fainted. What is the meaning of fainted? You will have to find out, children. I think whole episode you understand, children. The potter searching for his donkey suddenly finds a tiger in the night and thinks that it is his animal. He brings it, ties it, and all people appreciate, and then he goes to see and suddenly finds that it is not donkey but it is tiger. And what happens to him? He falls down on the ground, fainted. He falls on the ground, fainted, my dear children. You understand? Yes. Remember, if you have any doubts, what do you have to do? Call me. And at the same time, opposites, vocabulary. Vocabulary means hard word. Find its meaning in Word Web Dictionary in your smartphone. Download Word Web Dictionary, Word Web, WORD-WEB, Word Web Dictionary in your smartphone. What a beautiful lesson it is. Nobody, however, believed the potter's story. But did anybody believe? Do anybody believe that in your area, if somebody brings instead of his buffalo a tiger and ties it in his cow shed, next day, hey, I only thought that this is my animal and I brought it, but he has tied a tiger. Could you believe that? Could anybody believe that? Likewise, no villagers believed. The villagers even praised him for being modest. Modest means simple. And the villagers were really praising him and thanking him, and they were all admired because he's telling that, no, I only brought my donkey, I did not bring the tiger. And they were reared this hero, this great, powerful man brought a big tiger, but still you see, he is not telling that, hey, I captured a tiger, I am the hero. He is not telling like that. He is simply saying that, I only brought my donkey. And people were appreciating his modesty. Soon the potter became famous. Of course, who will not become famous, children? You come onto the road and a car which is coming in 100 speed, you stop with all your power by your bare hands. Would you become famous? As some of the movies, heroes allow the cars to go on their hand fingers. Allow your hand fingers also run by a car under the car wheels, and if nothing happens, you also become famous. Yes or no? Likewise, the potter became so famous. What is the opposite of famous? Write in your notes. Everybody who met him, the brave potter. Everybody who met him called him the brave potter. The simple potter himself never understood why. Okay, everybody who came to meet this potter called him as brave potter. All started appreciating this brave potter, children. Nobody stopped praising this brave potter. All said, you are a brave potter. Why? Because you brought the tiger. He brought the tiger. That's why he is famous. So children, this is part 1. Bringing tiger and realizing that he did not bring donkey, but he brought a tiger and got a famous name, that is brave potter. Okay, this is part 1. Let's get into part 2. Okay, a few years later, war broke out between the potter's country and a much stronger neighbor. So there was a war between the potter's country and neighboring country, like India and Pakistan. If the potter is from India, then there is a war between India and Pakistan, and this India is called as potter's country. So between these two countries, there was a war. Broke out means started. Broke out means began. This is a verbal phrase. Remember, underline these words, children, not simply listening. Listen with interest. Listen with pen and paper and book. Underline, write. Much stronger neighbor. How is his neighbor? He was stronger than the potter's country. The king immediately gathered a large army, but he realized that it was not strong enough to save his country from defeat. The potter's country, king knows that his country is very, very weak. Though he gathered a big army, but it was not enough because the neighboring country's army is very, very powerful. So he knew that they are going to face defeat. He needed a hero to lead his army. So immediately the king was in search of a hero, in search of a brave person, in search of a powerful, courageous person to lead his army. Where could he find such a brave man? The king hurriedly called his ministers together and asked their advice. So the king was in need of a powerful man, and immediately called all his ministers and gave this word. Please find out a powerful man. Please find out a powerful man. Okay. Give me your suggestions. Now, what happened? So, which country's army is very powerful? Neighboring country. Who knows that the army is very weak? To win over the neighboring country is not that possible. Who said this? The potter's country's king. What was the what was the need of the potter country's king? A hero. Why does he need a hero? He needed a hero to lead his army. And what did he do? He called his ministers and asked for their suggestions and advices. What were their suggestions, advices? What was the theme that was surrounding their suggestions and advice? To suggest for somebody who is brave, who is powerful, who is courageous, and who can be a hero to lead his army to win against the neighboring country. You understand, children? Hope you all understand. Now, among the ministers, one minister started talking. One of the ministers, see, one of the, when you write compulsorily, plural noun you must use. One of the pens, one of the watches, one of the classes, one of the students, one of the cards, one of the birds, one of the animals. So likewise, one of the ministers means among ministers, one minister. That is the meaning. So one of the ministers remembered the story of the brave potter. Immediately, one minister thought of the brave potter. Okay? Your Majesty, whom do you call with this kind of greeting? Your Majesty, King, and even judge also. Your Majesty, the minister said, I know someone who can lead our army. Who said these words? Ministers. Minister said to the king, King, your Majesty, my lord, I know a person who can lead our army. The king immediately sent a messenger to the potter house. Immediately the king sent a messenger to the potter's house. When the potter realized that he had been made a general of the army, he became frightened. No sooner the king sent the message, immediately the potter was made as the general of the army. What is the rank of a general of the army? Very powerful rank. Yes or no? The general of the army is a powerful man. And when he received this title, was he very happy? No, he was very much frightened. He became very fearful, children. He became very, very fearful. Right? Who made him as the general? The king made him as the general. General for what? General of the army. The king had ordered him to go to the palace the next day. Okay, the king had ordered him to go to the palace next day. How could he, a poor ignorant potter, become the general of the army? He had never carried a sword, nor had he ever ridden a horse. So king himself is also asking questions. What were these questions? How can he take the position of a general? He doesn't have an experience of catching, holding a sword, or even riding a horse. How can he fight the enemy? He doesn't have an experience of a soldier. He doesn't have an experience of a soldier. Now, how can he? Yes or no? How can he? He doesn't know how to ride a horse, neither hold a sword. And for such a potter, that a poor ignorant potter, he was also ignorant. Ignorant of what? Behaving like a soldier, behaving like a general of the army. He is very much ignorant. What is the opposite of ignorant? Find out in your dictionary. Oh, I shall die because of that stupid donkey. Oh my God, that stupid donkey of mine. Now you see, because of the donkey, I had to bring a tiger. And because of bringing the tiger, now I'm going to die. I shall die because of my donkey. Again, this stupid donkey. Ground the potter to his wife. He has only brought us trouble. The donkey has brought us only trouble. He should not have escaped from our stable. From the tree, he might not have escaped. He left the stable and now see how many troubles he is bringing. They thought that I'm a powerful man because I brought our animal, and I didn't know that it is tiger. Now I came to know that it is tiger. But it's not tiger, it's not donkey, but it's tiger. Now see, our donkey is bringing so many problems to us. Yeah? Why did the Potter's family get the troubles? Because the donkey ran away from the chain. The next day, he went with his wife to the capital. So, why did he go to the capital? What is there in the capital? Palaces. Big buildings will be there because the king has ordered to come to the palace. So, along with his wife, he went to the capital. The king was pleased. What is the meaning of pleased? Happy. Became so happy. The king was pleased to see him and ordered the potter to lead the army into battle the next day. Did not give him the time for training. No training with sword and horse, but next day go with our army to fight against the neighboring country who is so powerful. The enemy were not far from the gates of the city. So, who was there near to the gates of the palace? Enemy is awaiting in ambush. He is ready to fight against this, Potter's country. So, the enemy is very close to our gate. So, get ready for next day you have to go for the war. A splendid house had been prepared for the potter and his wife. What kind of house was prepared for the potter and his wife? Splendid, rich house was prepared. Splendid, rich house, costly house was prepared. The horse which would carry him into the battle was ready in the stable. Even the horse which was prepared for the general was also ready, on which the potter would travel next day morning. So he was ready with his horse. The horse was ready for the general. The only thing that is late is go against the enemy and fight against the enemy. Next day morning, he must prepare himself to go to the forest and fight with the enemy. Fight with the enemy, right? Yeah. That night, the potter could not sleep. So, whole night, though it was a splendid house, a rich house, but the potter could not get sleep. He is thinking about the war. He is thinking about the fight. He was nervous. Nervous means he was not calm. He was troubled, worried, because he did not know how to ride a horse. The potter didn't know how to ride a horse. I think children, when you get a chance to ride on a horse, especially when you go to the beaches, you will find horses there. And if you do not know how to ride on the horse, children, be remember that you will fall and break your bones. So remember that. So there was a much worry because he doesn't know how to ride a horse. Okay, and what were the thoughts? If I fall off, everybody will laugh at me. Because he is general. He was given an award. He was given a position in the army. He is a general of the army. And falling off from a horse would really make him a laughing stock. Would make him a laughing stock. I will get up very early tomorrow and practice riding the horse. He is taking a new decision. He is planning for his life. What I will do next day, early morning. I'll get up early morning and learn how to ride the horse. Okay? What a perseverance you see. Do you have that kind of dream, children? Children, if you don't have knowledge, people will laugh at you. If you don't have English skills, people will laugh at you. If you don't have good communication skills, people laugh at you. And when is the time to plan and get ready? As the potter is also thought. Potter is also thinking that if I fall off from the horse, everybody will laugh at me. So he wanted to get up in the morning and practice what? Horse ride. At dawn, dawn means early morning. The potter woke up his wife and they went to the stable. So early morning before everyone get up. Anyone get up? The potter woke up his wife and both of them went to the stable. What is stable? A place where the horses are kept. They saw the beautiful brown horse ready for its new master. So they saw a powerful, healthy, beautiful brown horse which was made ready for his master. Who is his new master? The general was his new master. And it was waiting there. It was waiting there. Oh, how tall he is! How is the horse? The horse is very tall. The horse is very, very tall, very healthy, and very powerful. And he sighed the potter. He said, the horse is very tall, and he sighed the potter. Wow. I mean, he said openly that the horse, which is segmented for the general, was very healthy, very powerful, very beautiful. Of course, the horse of the general must be very, very neat, very good, very powerful, and all that. I shall never be able to climb on to his back. He is able to determine that he cannot be able to climb on the horse because the horse is very tall. Because the horse is very tall. That's why he thought that I cannot sit on the horse. I cannot sit on the horse. Put this bench beside him, said his wife, and use it as a step. Some of our short people, what do? To ride a bike, they look for a stone so that they keep one leg on the stone and then they climb on a cycle or like that. So likewise, Potter's wife also suggested, my dear husband, take this bench, keep it by the side of the horse and use it as a step to sit on the horse. Even with the help of the bench, the potter had much difficulty climbing on to the horseback. Though there was bench, but still it became a little difficult also for him to climb on the horseback. When he was finally seated, somehow with all kind of difficulties and problems, he sat on the horse. When he was finally seated, he found that the saddle was very slippery. So the saddle which is used for controlling the horse was slipping. It was very slippery. Slippery means slipping. Please tie my feet to the stirrups, dear wife, said the potter. Otherwise, I shall certainly fall off. So usually we don't tie the legs of the rider of the horse to the horse. But he requested his wife to tie his legs to the seat belt of the horse. If you don't tie, he knows that he will fall down. Please tie my feet to the stirrups. Stirrups means the kind of ropes that are there around the body of the horse. If the stirrups are not tied, what will happen? Potter would fall. Certainly, surely the potter would fall. The potter would fall very surely. That's why he is requesting his wife to do something. What is that? What is that? To tie his feet to the stirrups, to the kind of ropes that are there, to the saddle of the horse. His wife found some rope and bound her husband's feet tightly to the stirrups. So the wife searched for some ropes and she found some ropes in the stable and she tied them up to the stirrups of the horse and feet very tightly. She then passed the rope underneath the horse and tied the two stirrups together. So she tied the feet of the rider, the potter, to the stirrups of the horse very tightly and around. She also passed a length of rope around the potter's waist and tied him to the saddle. Not only that, rather to say, she has completely tied to the seat belt of the horse. To the body of the horse and to the body of the potter was connected with full ropes, with tight and powerful ropes. Okay, the potter wife has tied everything. His waist was tied, his legs were tied, and even his feet was tied with rope all around the body of the horse. All around the body of the horse, the things were tied. Is that clear, children? Hope this exciting, fun story is becoming so funny. Now please tie my hands to his neck, said the potter. After requesting her to tie his feet and waist, now he is requesting his wife to tie something. What is that? He is requesting his wife to tie his hands to the neck of the horse. Meanwhile, the big brown horse was impatiently pawing his hooves on the ground. Hooves means the legs down where that nailed iron will be there, where the horse can really gallop. So it has been now, the horse has been being disturbed from a very long time. So the tiger was not, that horse was not able to hold on that disturbance. Okay, pawing his hooves on the ground. When the potter wife tried to pass another rope around its neck, the horse suddenly jumped free. One rope she tied, another rope when she was trying, immediately the horse felt this is the signal for moving and immediately it jumped free. It galloped. Galloped means ran fast. Galloped out of the stable with the potters hanging like a sack of rice on its back. As if something is hanging like that. The potter was hanging on the body of the horse, but did the body had any kind of feeling? No, he started galloping. How was the scene? As if a rice bag was hanging on the body of the horse, like that. The brave potter was hanging on the body of the horse. Only the ropes kept him from crashing to the ground. If he were not able, if he was not being tied with ropes and other things, he would have fell on the ground and crushed and died. But now he was able to hang on because he was tied with ropes. These ropes only were saving him. The potter held tightly to the horse's neck and prayed to all the gods to save his life. So he held very tightly to the ropes of the horse and he prayed to all the gods to save him. He prayed to all the gods to save him. After galloping through the quiet streets, the horse crashed through the city gates and raced across the open fields. So it crossed all the houses, it crossed the palace, and it crossed the city gates, and now it was out of the city and into the fields. Okay. It was galloping, it was not simply moving, it was racing in almost 200 speed per hour. The horse crashed through the city gates and raced across the open fields. It leapt over fences and streams and began to head for the enemy's camp. So even fences, compound wall, everything it was jumping, and it was in the direction of the enemy's camp. Where the enemy was living, towards that side, the horse was galloping, dashing. When the potter realized where they were going, he tried harder than ever to stop the horse. When the potter noticed that the horse was going towards the enemy's camp, He tried hard to control and stop the horse, but he was not able. He pulled wildly on the reins, but it was no use. The horse galloped on. As he was pulling the stable, the horse was thinking that the rider was on its back. He's saying the horse to, signaling the horse to run faster, so it galloped on. The horse galloped on. Okay. So, how the scene is, my dear children? Is it not fun? Of course, it is fun. The porter was not able to fall from the horse. Why? Because he was tied with ropes and so on. How was the porter sitting on the horse hanging like a rice bag? What were the things it crossed? It crossed the houses, city gates, palace, the fields, and approaching what? It was approaching the enemy's camp. While it was approaching the enemy's camp, what did the porter do? He tried hard to control the horse. He tried hard to control the horse. The lesson is so simple, children. The lesson is really so simple. Pay attention. Underline the hard words. Underline the opposites. Select the opposites and write the opposite word for it. That way, children, you will surely improve the vocabulary and so on. And vocabulary is very, very important for your English. If you don't use vocabulary properly, then you will not understand anything. So, my dear children, I request all of you to write as many vocabulary as possible. Don't leave even a single one. Write more vocabulary, make your own questions, find answers in the lesson, in the explanation, and so on. Is that very clear, children? Hope it is very, very clear for you. Okay? Hope you are not getting confused, children. Okay? Right, when the porter tried hard to stop the horse, did he stop? No. No. He galloped on. He ran fast. Is that very clear? I hope it is very clear for you, children. Shall we go ahead? Yes. When they passed a young tree, the porter grabbed a branch. While they were galloping, he found an young tree and he held the branch in his hand, grabbed a branch, but the horse did not stop. Even in order to stop the horse, he grabbed a young tree, not a old tree or a big tree. Young tree means a very, very powerful tree. But though he held a young tree, did the tiger stop? No, he did not stop. He kept on galloping. Instead, the tree was pulled out of the ground. Instead, because of the speed of the horse, even that young tree pulled out of the earth. It came out and it was in his hand. It came out and it was in his hand, my dear children. Okay, let's continue. But the horse did not stop, though he held a young tree. Young tree here represents a powerful, energetic, healthy tree. Even that was uprooted because the speed of the horse was so fast that in speed, if you catch anything, it gets pulled out and it will be remain in your hand. A sentry from this enemy camp saw the potter galloping towards the camp with a tree in one hand and his reins in the other. The horse control ropes were in one hand and the young healthy tree was in another, and he was galloping like a Bahubali towards the enemy camp, and there was a sentry. A sentry means a guard, a soldier who watches. He saw it galloping towards the camp with a tree one hand and his reins in the other. That must be the general who captured the tiger with his bare hands. Oh my God, the one who is galloping towards our camp might be the general who is appointed recently. He is a very, very brave man. He held a horse, a big, dangerous horse, with a bare hands single-handedly, without any kind of gun, without any kind of net, without any kind of hook. He held the tiger with just his bare hands. Now that general is towards our camp. It galloped out of the, a sentry from the enemy camp saw the potter galloping towards the camp with a tree in one hand and his reins in the other. That must be the general who captured a tiger with his bare hands, he thought. Now he has uprooted a tree with only one hand. See, that healthy tree, big tree, good tree was uprooted with just one simple hand. He is not an ordinary man. He is a giant, a big man. He is not an ordinary man. He is a giant. Run, run, save yourselves. The famous tiger general is coming at the head of a large army to attack us. How is he greeted now? Tiger general. And he is coming head of the army. Army hasn't prepared and started. But before the army started, the general himself came first to fight with us. What a brave man he is. Coming ahead of a large army to attack us. He has the strength of a giant. He has the strength of a big giant. He has uprooted a tree with one hand. See how powerful he is. He is so powerful. As being appointed as general, tiger general, he started before his army started. And see, he could pull out that powerful, strong tree uprooted from the earth with single hand, which means he is so powerful. It is time that we run away and save our life. Otherwise, the army which is behind him, the powerful large army which is behind him, would come over here and kill all of us. So it is time, before the potter reach here, we must leave the area and save ourselves. Okay? Right, children? So simple the story is. Okay? The frightened soldiers fled. Okay? Flee, fled, fled. This is the word before. Okay? Flee, fled, fled. The frightened, the fearful soldiers ran away out of fear. They ran away. They fled from that enemy's camp. They ran away. Their king was left by himself in his tent. Only the enemy's king was left in the tent. Only he is there and nobody else there. Hurriedly, he wrote a letter begging for peace and apologizing for attacking the country. So immediately, the king wrote a letter to the potter's country's king that, I'm sorry, let's have peace. I'm sorry for the damage that has happened, created by me, by our army to your country. We are very sorry. Apology means say sorry, feel sorry. Let's have peace talks now. Let's have peace talks now. He left his letter in the tent. He wrote the letter and left the letter in his tent. Then he jumped on his horse and followed his soldiers. Even the king also jumped on his horse and galloped away along with his soldiers. But only one thing was left in the tent, and that was the letter. That was the letter. He left this letter in his tent. Then he jumped on his horse and followed his soldiers. When the potter's brown horse reached the deserted camp, it stopped. So when it was a deserted camp, because all the soldiers, everybody fled away. Nobody else was there. So there, the horse stopped there. With shaking hands, the potter untied his feet and fell to the ground. So the shake in his body did not stop. So he untied his legs and everything and fell on the ground because the horse is so tall. Okay, when he looked around, he was surprised to find the camp empty. So, right, when he saw around, the enemy's camp was empty. Nobody was there. Nobody else was there because everybody was afraid because this man was coming like a Bahubali. One hand, the ropes to control the horse. In the other hand, a young, powerful tree. And with that, as he was coming, the enemy's camp fled away, knowing that he is the tiger general. When he looked around, he was surprised to find the camp empty. What was the camp? The camp was very empty. He looked in the king's tent and found the letter. So he saw around and entered into the king's tent. There he found a letter and nothing more. There he found, what did he find? A letter. The puzzled potter walked back to the city with the letter in his pocket. The puzzled potter walked back to the city. He did not go on horse now because he learned a lesson that horse riding is a dangerous riding. So he walked back to the city, something special in his pocket. That was the letter. A letter in his hand was there, in his pocket was there, and he walked to his city. He went to his wife and gave her the letter. So he took the letter and gave his wife. Why? Because he was illiterate. He is uneducated. The poor potter is uneducated. He did not educate. He doesn't know how to read. So immediately the wife took the letter. Okay. He walked back to the city on his barefoot. Is that clear, children? Hope it is very clear for all of you. Dear wife, he said, never in my life will I ride a horse again. He's promising his wife something beautiful, right? Dear wife, he said, never in my life will I ride a horse again. I will not ride a horse again in my life. I will not ride a horse in my life again. Again, I will not ride the horse in my life again. This is the promise he made. Please take this letter to our king and tell him that the enemy has run away. Wife, take this letter, go to the king and tell to the king that the enemy has ran away. I'm going to bed. I'm very much tired. Now I'm going to sleep. His wife ran towards the palace with the letter. The wife ran to the palace and gave the letter to the king. When the king read the letter, he was full of praise for his new general. He asked the potter's wife where her husband was. When the king got the letter and read the letter, he was very much pleased, very much happy. He just simply asked to find where the potter is. My husband is tired, Your Majesty. The servants have put him to bed, answered the wife respectfully. See, a general had servants. The wife is telling, my husband is tired. Now his servants have put him to sleep. Let him rest today. Tell him to come tomorrow to receive his reward, the king said. Okay, my dear lady. Let your husband sleep and take rest sufficiently today. But tell him to come to the palace tomorrow. I just want to gift him a big reward. What did the king wanted to give him? A big reward. Why the general was not able to go to the palace? Because he was very much tired. And so, as he was tired, what he wanted to do? He wanted to take sufficient rest. Did the king disturb his rest? No. He told his wife to allow him to take sufficient rest, but tell him to come tomorrow morning to receive what? A big reward. What was that? Big reward. Let him rest today. Today, entire day, let him rest. Let's not disturb him. Let him rest. But he must come tomorrow to the palace to collect his reward. Next morning, the porter went to the king's palace. Okay? Next morning, the porter went to the king's palace. He left the brown horse in the stable and walked to the palace with his wife. So, he took the horse and left it in the stable of the king and went to the palace to meet the king. Along with his wife he went. The streets were filled with the cheering crowds. So, in the streets, all the village people were there. They were appreciating, thanking, congratulating and cheering the porter. The streets were filled with the cheering crowds. They had all heard about his brave action. Two brave actions were there. Catching a tiger and chasing away the enemy. These were the two brave actions in this beautiful story. Because of these two brave actions, all the village people were appreciating, thanking, congratulating this man. Look how humble he is. What is the opposite of humble? Find out in the dictionary. Look how humble he is, they said to each other. Because if somebody wins something, they keep their chest forward and say, hey, I won it. But this man is not telling anything, but still he is like a simple man. So he chased away the enemy, but see how simple he is. He is so simple. Any other man would ride to the palace on the horse, but he is walking like an ordinary man. Usually, after winning, the general usually comes on his horse, riding and goes to the palace. But here is a man, though he is general, he is walking to the palace. That shows how simple he is. That shows how ordinary he is. Right? He is truly a humble and a brave man. He is truly a humble and a brave man. He is so humble and brave. The king rewarded the porter so well that he did not need to work again. The country was peaceful for the rest of his life, and the porter never rode a horse again. So, such an amount of reward he got that he never needed to work again in his life. And since there was no enemy at all, and the spread that there is a tiger general in the country, no other enemy planned or broke out to fight against this porter's country. So, the whole country lived in peace and nobody disturbed and anything. So, until the entire walk of his life, there was no other moment where he was in a need of riding the horse. Because everything was peaceful, calm and happy. So, children, hope the lesson is very clear for you all. I think it has had a happy ending, right? So, there were so many questions. Okay, so how write something about his simplicity? Then he should be able to write. How did he do these brave acts? Was he really brave enough to do this such kind of acts? No. That also you will have to able to answer such kind of questions. Is that very clear, children? Please make a short notes, simple questions you make, and also open your textbook and write all the questions that are there here and write the answers for them. Okay, write the answers for your own questions. Make your own questions of this lesson and write the answers for yourself. Also, textual answers you will have to write. I believe at least around 50 to 100 vocabulary you will get. So all the vocabulary you write and find the meanings for them, and also write the opposites also. The more vocabulary you write, the spellings increases, and also the strength of the vocabulary also will increase, my dear children. So hope the lesson is so exciting and beautiful. I believe you have enjoyed this lesson, children. Please listen to the lesson very carefully and understand the lesson, so that you learn the story, the characters, as well as the vocabulary. Thank you, children. Thank you, children, for listening to this beautiful lesson. Hope this lesson is very humorous and fun, and you have enjoyed it. If you have any queries and further clarifications, please call me. And whatever I have asked, the questions, vocabulary, opposites, everything you will have to write and find the meanings for them. And also, please open your textbook and write the questions and look for the answers inside this lesson and write it. Okay? Thank you.